Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. That's me. I'll be dressed a little bit like this for the show. Please come out to support. It sounded funny at the time in Dearborn, December the 17th, 2022. All right. So here's the deal. I just got to get this straight. All right. Because I can't keep bending this way. So look, this show is going to be amazing. I'm being brought there by my brother, Big Fresh, and everybody in the Hammer Track area. My main man, Ishmael, and his lovely queen. Rafiki's going to be there. This is going to be an amazing show. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be funny. Years ago, I did something called Love Supreme and Anatomy of Gratitude, which was a true tribute to John Coltrane through comedy. Now we have this thing. We got so many things to talk about: the pandemic, the elections, Trump. Listen, brothers and sisters, this is the time. We're going to be doing a show. Yeah, it is. It's called It Sounded Funny at the Time, Dearborn, Michigan, December the 17th. Listen, I hope you guys attend. I'm looking forward to coming back to the Dearborn area and just being amongst my brothers and sisters. Come on out. $20 if you get your tickets early. $25 if you get them late. And if you don't like Muslims, you don't get a ticket at all. Listen, see you there. I won't see you. No matter, because we're going to have an epic time. With your moms. It sounded funny at the time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, family. How are you guys doing? This is your brother, Preacher Moss. You're dearly indebted, brother. I hope you're doing well. This is the SOS, the shout out show, in case you want to know where you are. Some of you are probably working through some of those Thanksgiving food comatoses that you've gotten. I appreciate you making it back. Also, I want to give a shout out to everybody that came on the show on Thursday. We had a really good time, and I just appreciate the support as always. That's number one. Number two, I want to give a quick shout out to a couple people. My brother, John Adams, I want to give a shout out to him. His mom, Miss Mary Adams, is not doing well, so we want to send out prayers and dua to her. All right. And also a family member we haven't seen on the show in a minute, but he is a shout out show royalty. Our brother Doug Robinson is going to check on mom. She came down with COVID, so we want to make sure that she's doing well. Doug, peace and blessings to your mom as well. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's just get to this. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a background about this. In Houston, they had the Mass Ignorant Conference. They have it every Thanksgiving. No big deal. My professor from Bayan, his name is Overmir Anjum, Dr. Overmir Anjum, brilliant researcher, brilliant professor. He was my history of Islam teacher. I wish I was a better student. I told him that. It's just a lot of information, and I wasn't into it. I had a lot of stuff going on. And he gave me a C because that was the lowest grade he could give me. Thank goodness. But my point is, we got into a conversation while we were sitting at Starbucks. I was having one of my Impossible Burger sandwiches, a little orange juice. He was having some coffee. And he asked the question, and I can't say I was really ready for it. The question was, does the Black community really exist? Does it still exist? Now, you know me. I defend our Black community. I defend our Muslim community. I will defend us to the end. And of course, I said, we're still here. We're relevant. But then he started breaking down some things and said, well, you know, where is the Black community right now? Like, what are our talking points? Where are we strong? You know, are we even on the precipice of being able to defend on the basis of identity politics? And, you know, we had a great conversation. Thank you, Dr. Andrew. But it really brought to the point is like, have we been sleeping for a while in the context of Black community? Because Black community is tied to Black Muslim community. Black Muslim community is tied to immigrant Muslim community. This is a real thing that we're dealing with here. And I thought I would take some time out today, just not too long. We're not going to get too serious. Ain't nobody trying to write no thesis, no 30 minutes. Let's just call that what it is. But it does bring home the point that we've been talking about some things here on the show over the last almost 700 some shows, and we've been hitting it on the head. We just haven't necessarily strung it together. And Allah knows best, Allahu Alam, that sometimes you have to revisit things and you have to look at things. Some of the things that we looked at and we said, that's peculiar. Now it's more main place. It's more mainstay. We now accept it more. It's in the purview of the public a lot more, and seeing it more and more, we've gotten used to it, if you will. I won't say soft. I'll say that we've gotten used to it. So today on the show, I really want to talk about this concept. And I actually did a little research on Mr. Professor Andrew, and he brought up something in one of his talks that I think is really, really vital to this thing about the Black community existing, which is the viability of Black community and why are we viable? Look at all the other communities around. What is it that they have that we don't have? We're going to be talking about that here today on the Shout Out Show. Thank you for tuning in. Don't move. Don't you move. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back. Before we get into our subject matter today, let's welcome everybody back from the Thanksgiving, the holiday. Let's get them in here. Sister Ree, what's going on, Sister Ree? I hope you had a good time with hubby and son at your Thanksgiving thing. Sister Ree hooked your brother up. I had homemade potato salad. I had, what's that, roasted seared chicken. I had spinach. I had a whole lot of stuff. So while I didn't go out for Thanksgiving, I want everybody to know your boy was good. I watched a lot of football, ate a lot of food, and I was happy. So I didn't have everybody come by my house. I had a good time. Okay. Thank you again, Ree. We appreciate it. Allah bless you. All the way from Toronto, a Canadian ambassador, a Canadian envoy. I'm demoting my brother. I don't want to do that. A Canadian envoy to the show, my main man, Altaf Rashid. Dear brother, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do you guys do Thanksgiving in Canada? I always wanted to know. Or is there another holiday that you do? Is there a Thanksgiving equivalent, Canadian equivalent, man? Let us know. I always want to know that. And my brother, brother Bilal, what's going on? Shouts out to sister, your queen, Sister Sonia Dalton Salahuddin. We know she's somewhere in the area. Make sure that you give our salams to her whenever she walks through the house, sir. Before you say anything, give our salams to our sister. And, of course, my dear brother JT. What's going on? And he's sitting up with my other mom, just so you guys know, I have several moms. There's Aunt Maisie, and then there's Aunt Mamie, and they are listening to the show. So we're having a good time, man. Shouts out to y'all. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving in Milwaukee, inshallah. Also, Brother Eric wants to know if I do shows in South Carolina. If the money's right, I'll do shows at a car wash, brother. I'm just going to tell you that. So you know. I was supposed to do something in South Carolina earlier. It got canceled in Charleston, as a matter of fact. But you know what? We'll have to do our own show, all right? Let me know what's down there. Maybe we'll work something out just to come down, all right? And, of course, we have executive producer, none other than, you got it, Sister Satana Whitfield, who's back in the building. Sister, you feeling better? Boy, she was dragging last week. It's amazing what some turkey and some yams will do for you, huh? You feeling better? She's got that food coming and she's back. She's sharp. All right. We appreciate you. So let me get to this topic. I told you that this whole thing starts. I thought I was going to just be hanging out with my professor from Bayan. Shout out Bayan. And we were just talking and he asked me, let me ask you a question. I'm like, okay. He says the Black community still exists. And I am, I went into my thing. I went into my Nation Islam thing. I went to my WD Muhammad thing. I went to my Black History thing, Garvey, all of that. But he asked something, and I'm going to throw this out. He said, if it exists, he said, what's the state of it? And that's where the conversation got interesting. I'm like, what do you mean, what is the state of it? He said, what's the state of it? We've had several elections. You see that people are attacking the black vote. They're trying to disparage blacks from voting. You have open war on voter suppression with voter suppression. You have all these things. And he said, where's the response? And I thought to myself, that's a damn good question. But I didn't want to admit it in front of him. But I'm going to say it. I'm going to send him this broadcast. There is a question about the black community still existing and what state it's in. Now, the reason I say this is because over the last couple of years, particularly with the Shout Out Show, we've had incidents that were absolute call to actions. I mean, they riled everybody. Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. We had all of these calls to action. But what's happened after the trials and things like that is there's a definite silence. Not definite silence, a deafening silence whereby we're only in a position to react when there's a crisis, which says that there's an absence of coalition building in between the crises, in between the elections. We are not in a situation where we even control the whole idea of identity politics as black people. And I thought about it musically. Let me just deal with me musically. You look at jazz. You know what jazz didn't have? Beefs. You didn't have people killing each other over jazz music. You didn't have people killing each other over R&B music. People weren't getting stabbed over Roberta Flack singing "Killing Me Softly." It was just "Killing Me Softly." It was just the song. You know what I'm saying? And even the early hip hop, when there was violence, hear me now, when there was violence, there was still a call to action within the hip hop community, which is, self-destruction. And on the West Coast, we're all in the same gang. But that's not here now. And the question is, why has it been watered down so much? We joke, and some people get upset with me, and you can rightfully get upset with me. Have you watched television lately? The advent of the black family on TV is not the black family on TV. It's the mixed black family on TV. It's a black man and a white woman, or a white woman and a black man. And the kids are mixed. I call it the Michael Jacksoning of the black family, because now the prescription is changed, that we are a little bit diluted, whereby you can't shout and scream. I was just writing a script about a character in this show called MSA. His whole claim to being black is that he's 2% black, and that makes him a part of the struggle. He doesn't talk about the other 98% white. But here's something I want you to think about. And I'm going to try and get it right. Sultana, if I get it wrong, you let me know. I was doing a little digging on Professor Overman Antrim. Looking on, because brother can't be outdone. I'm like, I think he got me on this one. And I'm going to tell you why I think he got me. And I've said it, and I'm going to be honest. The scope of black community has been usurped now, and we can just call it what it is. The black community has been usurped by Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter was in the driver's seat for some of the most crucial aspects of social reconstruction here in the United States. And we let it happen. Nobody read the fine print on Black Lives Matter, which was the scope that it was anti-family. It was anti-male. It was anti-civil rights, meaning that to move forward in this process, we had to disavow all that history. And when you disavow all that history moving forward, that leaves you as a lame duck. Even Black Lives Matter now has been overtaken by the LGBTQ community that's not black. So where does that leave us? It leaves us in a bad place. And when I say this, please hear me. I am not theorizing this. These are real facts. Extremely real facts. I realized something watching a video from Dr. Overmare talking about citizenship and minorities. Citizenship and minorities. And what he was talking about was citizenship in, like, Muslim countries and what that involves, and Jewish countries, what that involves. And what it involves is the advent of being able to say you invested, that you invested in that country, and investing in that country, part and parcel, gives you a right to be claiming or claim as a citizenship. Oh, shout out Altaf. He said they had something in October and they borrowed Black Friday. There you go. Doesn't matter. You got Americanized anyway. All right, let me continue. Have you really ever asked the question here in the United States, am I a citizen? Do we just assume that in this process that we are citizens? When someone says to a Black person, go back where you come from, or go back where you came from, overlooking the fact that slavery denies you an opportunity to invest because you are the investment, that they're not talking about to your color, they're talking about your rights to the land. They're talking about your civil rights. We're the only culture who's had to fight for civil rights. And the question is, why do we have to continue the fight for civil rights? And the question could be that in America, people don't consider us as citizens. Minus the investment. And let me add, we're so busy trying to be a part of the society, we don't invest in ourselves. And that fact right there may be the underlying question. Do we actually have a Black community? A vibrant Black community that invests in itself? There are some pockets. There are some entrepreneurs. But as a whole, no. As a whole, no. Am I saying that the Black community has disappeared? No. I'm saying it exists, but I'm questioning how relevant are we now? For all of us that have gotten older, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, we had expectations. We experience, in many regards, Black community that was vibrant, that would react, not only react, we were preemptive with the things that we needed. We needed better schools. We needed better opportunities for business. We needed better health care. We were preemptive. Now we are reactive. And to Dr. Angela's point, I will add this, that our youth have grown up in the last 2 to 3 generations not really fully understanding or engaging in the idea of Black community. Whether it be schools, whether it be opportunities, I look at some of the things that are around in terms of opportunities. Are we creating large internships to turn out our own doctors, to turn out our own lawyers, our own engineers? Are we building industry? No. Much the same as America. America is about products, not manufacturing. Now, this is no knock on the Black community. This is the economy. We're a service economy. We don't build things anymore. And in the fact that these young people have never been a part of something or visibly known something to be built, I think it's to their disadvantage. And I'm not saying I'm going to go out and build a factory, but I remember when I was a child and I would go down to Danville, Virginia, there was a story of the Dan River Mill that employed, 65, 70% of the town. And understanding how things got made, the process of materials and manufacturing and distribution. While I was not working in a factory, brothers and sisters, I can respect the process. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to be back. We're going to be right back on this question. Does the Black community still exist here on the Shout Out Show? Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear, don't get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe. And your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right, we're back. So I began this conversation by asking, does the Black community still exist? We exist as Black entities. Are we community? I'm not sure. The reason I'm saying I'm not sure is because I look and I'm like, what are we tethering ourselves to really frame what is the identity of a community? Are we a political community? Are we a religious community? Are we an economic community? Are we a social community? Culturally, I look and I'm saying, why is it that everybody can come and appropriate our culture, but we can't do that? We can't go to Russia and take over the vodka industry. We're not opening up Spanish restaurants or Chinese restaurants. We're not a part of the corner store market that was originally a Jewish community and then went to the Arab community and the Asian community. We're not a part of that. And the chain of transmission here is that if it's not happening in the Black community, it's not happening in the Black Muslim community, it's not happening in the Black Christian community, and sooner or later it won't be happening in non-Black Christian community and non-Black Muslim community. That we can be, in some regards, downgraded, doing more work, but still being downgraded in the context of what this community is going to look like. Brothers and sisters will find ourselves working harder to have less. Case in point, you have an election going down in Georgia. Why is Warnock trailing, according to some polls, trailing Herschel Walker? Because somewhere the devil is in the details, that somebody realized that it's not that the Black community is not a monolith, it's that we're not connected. We're not tethered to one another. You can have differences of opinion, but the differences of opinion are held in a space. We talk about it, not you over here, not you over here. And the whole scope of disinformation is something that's come across our community. It didn't just start with the election, brothers and sisters. Disinformation about the Black community has been going on for the last 15 years. Every once in a while, you're going to get a blip on the screen. You're going to get an Obama. And Obama is going to be able to do something that they haven't done. And why was Obama able to be elected president? While Black communities supported and loved him, to be honest, he was from the white community in one part, and he was from the African community on another part. He grew up in Hawaii. I'm not giving the guy any salt. Mad respect for Obama, but these are the facts. Look at those who come out in terms of political aspirations who are from the Black community. Some of them win. A lot of them get foiled. I don't say lose, they get foiled. Tricks and technology and all that stuff to make sure that the vote doesn't get out, or I've spread these massive amounts of lies about this person over here because it's true because I have the money to do so. And that they understand in the election cycle, we can't coalesce quick enough to say, forget what's on TV. We're going to take ourselves and express ourselves at the polls. We don't have that anymore. And let me add this. For anybody that's young that's out there, or if you want to give this video to some people that are young folks, do your history. Do your history. There was such a thing called the Black Panthers, and it wasn't a movie. It was a movement. There was such a thing called Motown. While it was music, it reflected the causes and the aspirations and the dreams of the Black community in music sound, rhythm, but there were words there. There was a James Brown who said, "I'm Black and I'm proud." There was a Curtis Mayfield who said, people get ready. There's a train to coming. There was feistiness, and I want to say bravado in the Black community in the context of who we were and how we express ourselves. Now, these days, we have people who express not who we are. They express who they think we are. And we've given over to that process. And unfortunately, it's hard to back out of it. I cringe every time I hear a remake. Satana, you ever cringe when you hear a remake? One, I hear remake. It makes me feel old. But two, when it's a bad remake, it makes me feel like they didn't respect the song. Like the artist who made that song, it was a classic and you just came and trashed it. Why? Because you liked it? Did you understand it? You didn't even use instruments. You just said, like, I'm going, and the record company said, go ahead, boy, do it. And you wind up creating trash, garbage. In our culture, talk about Black culture, Black Muslim culture, minority culture, we have allowed ourselves to be primed to produce bad art. And bad art is a part of bad community. When you put something in the middle and you say, everybody come around and take a look what it is, you are, in many regards, you are transposing what you want people to see about their community. This is the thing back in the day. There's a show that bothers me. It still bothers me. It's a show called Teen Mom. And it's on MTV. They got Teen Mom 2, Teen Mom 3. And the whole thing about Teen Mom is all these young girls are having these babies. There's no fathers around. And I understand that happens. But it seems to me that we're celebrating, in some regards, we're celebrating difficult decisions and poor decisions. We're celebrating, in one regards, love, but we're not celebrating responsibility and accountability. And it's not that they said if they had like Teen Mom and the dad that did it, Teen Mom and the dad that did it show. It's not that. We celebrate the struggle of people's decisions and it's entertainment. See, it was a time back in the day we didn't celebrate that. Miss Maisie, if you're listening, Miss Mamie, if you listen, remember this back in Satana, you probably remember this. A young girl got in trouble back in the day. She was in trouble, but probably about a month after, you didn't see her. She was sent somewhere else out of the environment, and she would have her baby, and she was tutored. She interned to be a mother for the welfare of the baby. That doesn't happen now. You got young girls dealing with knuckleheads talking about take care of your baby. He's 15 and you 14. Hell, you can't take care of yourselves. So let me end on this note. Does the Black community still exist? Yes, but it's weak. It's disheveled, not organized. We deserve better. We've been better. And I'm going to challenge us to be better moving forward. So, Dr. Anjum, thank you for that intellectual whooping I took at Starbucks. But I'm going to encourage that you pay attention to us because I'm trying to make the Black community strong the way it should be, just like a lot of other people. That's the shout out show today. Everybody take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace out.